Hello, and welcome to What We Learned This Week, episode 15. Woohoo! I'm Liz.
And I'm Chalene.
Where it might not matter,
but we're going to talk about it anyway.
And this week, it does matter. We're talking about fathers, and two fathers, to be more specific. We're pretty darn excited to have my dad first on the show. Hi, Dad.
Hello.
I really love that. I feel like we should just keep saying stuff so he can talk into the mic again.
In his man voice?
Yeah, I really...
Do you want to introduce him really quick?
I should. This is Dave.
Hi, I'm Dave.
Hi, Dave.
He's got a natural radio voice.
He really does. He has a really good radio voice. I feel like you should be running the show here.
I don't think I want to run the show, but I don't mind being here.
Thank you.
We love having you here.
Yes.
Thanks for going right along with all of our cool ideas. Actually, this is Shalene's brainchild. She's the brainchild of a lot of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I'm an idea person. Not really good at finishing, but real good at ideas.
Lies.
I need people in my life that finish things.
Well, all day long, I will try and push you to get stuff done.
Perfect.
That's why we're a good team.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Do you have those kind of people in your life, Dad? Are you a finisher or a starter?
I think I do a little bit of both.
I think you do. I feel like growing up, that's kind of what I remember. Dad's a finisher, though, for sure. Z's from a lot of my memories.
Okay.
He legit could come in and stuff would all of a sudden be done. And we were like, what?
That's really nice.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember that. So, Shalene's going to do a little bit of our leading in to why we're interviewing fathers today.
All right. Well, we decided that we wanted to be fair since we had our moms on. And our moms taught us something that they had learned this week, but we kind of wanted to do something a little bit different for the dads. We wanted a man's perspective. We talk a lot about being a mom and parenthood from a female perspective, and we thought it would be really interesting to talk about childbirth and child raising from a man's point of view, because I think that they definitely have a different perspective on how things are going, because they didn't participate in the birth as far as physically, right?
Did you participate physically in the birth, Dad?
I was a cheerleader.
Yeah. Was your hand squozen to...
Well...
That was Adam's goal. That was Adam's role.
Yeah. My hand was squoze, my arm and my throat a little bit.
That's awesome.
It was not too bad though. It was participatory.
It wasn't the Bill Cosby scene.
No. She didn't
did this to me.
Didn't rip my face off, no.
Oh, good.
And you didn't have the whole 9-month build-up as far as the connection, because I kind of think, and maybe you have a different point of view, but so we have experienced childbirth. The moment that we find out we're pregnant, we start talking about the baby and thinking about it and dreaming. And I was just wondering, in your opinion, did you experience that same level of connection, or did it kind of happen more at the birth?
Well, I think different men react differently, of course, to their wives being pregnant. Mm-hmm. Mine, I've always believed that my connection is a little bit closer.
Really?
Than most.
Okay.
Most guys. I feel like I have a lot more of an emotional connection to my wife and kids.
Okay.
And of course, it's not as close of a connection as a woman's connection is.
Right. Well, we have the physical connection.
Sure.
But you felt like an emotional or spiritual connection?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
And so the anticipation was there right from the beginning of when we knew.
Okay.
For Elizabeth, it was a little bit different, I think, for us than for our other children.
Okay, why is that?
Probably because technically she was our second child.
Oh, because I always known her as the oldest.
Right.
Okay.
And that was because our first child, a little boy, died when he was just about 3.5 months old.
Oh, how did he pass away?
Crib death.
Really?
Yeah, SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome.
I worried about that almost every day until my child could get out of bed on their own.
And
you never would have imagined anything like that would have happened.
No,
right?
we never even knew such a thing existed, really.
Oh, wow.
So it's not the kind of thing you plan for or worry about unless you have experience with it before.
Right.
So we were traumatized in that sense.
Oh, for sure.
Our faith really carried us through.
Okay.
That experience.
Yeah.
Family and friends.
Was it harder on you or your wife, or do you feel like you experienced it?
Probably harder on my wife.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. And so did you decide we're going to have kids when it happens, or we're just going to take a break for a minute and grieve?
No, we felt like if we took a break, it would be even more difficult.
Okay.
To begin to have kids again. We didn't feel like we could take that break. We had to, we felt like the purpose of our marriage and our family was to have children.
Okay.
And we could not take a break. So we had the firm belief that we were going to continue to have children. And so as soon as we found out that Tina was pregnant again, the excitement was a little bit different.
Was it a little tempered because you were worried, or more so, like more excited because you wanted to hold a baby?
You know, in one way it was more elevated, but I think there was an element of concern there because of what we had just gone through. And Tina had just gotten pregnant within a month or so after his death, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So it was pretty quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, we would be 15 months apart, I think.
Wow.
Because he was July.
So my math is bad. So yeah, think about it.
I think it was about
He died just before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You could have almost been Irish twins.
Yeah, my first two are 15 months apart, and I think us two would have been pretty close to that, maybe even 14. And he's a July baby, if I remember correctly, Dad. Or June. What month was he born?
July.
It was July. And I'm a August, September, so that's 14 months.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, we made the conscious decision to press forward. And we would look forward to Elizabeth being born with great anticipation, a little bit tempered. We did not know if she was going to be a boy or a girl. We never wanted to know with each of our children. Yeah.
Did you ever?
Oh, you're so brave.
I know.
Yeah. We just went into it. Well, back then, it wasn't that big a thing.
Yeah, I don't think
the technology was there, but you really had to want to know. Doing sonograms was not a standard back then.
Well, and I kind of wish when you're an adult, very few things are surprises anymore. Like when you're a kid, you have Christmas and birthdays and everything's such a fun surprise that I think, finding out the gender of the baby is like your last chance at a surprise as an adult in some ways. A good surprise, we can have things happen, but that's really cool. Did you guess the genders at all? Did you do that?
I think I had a pretty good idea for each of our kids.
Really?
What they were going to be, a boy or a girl.
That's where I got all my cool intuitive powers right there.
I'm pretty sure my dad guessed all of us correctly.
Oh, really?
Kind of spooky. Yeah, he did.
My dad knew.
Really?
Every one of them, yeah.
Really?
Yes. Grandpa Bates knew every one of them.
Actually, that doesn't surprise me for some reason.
Well, I think he probably visited with each one of you.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That is cool.
Because he's that kind of spiritual powerhouse,
really?
Yeah.
Huh. Oh my gosh, I love that. Okay, so do you remember her birth at all? Do you have... Because I can barely remember my son is 13 years ago. So
okay.
And I'm a little bit older than 13. I'm just going to throw that out there.
So I can remember a few things about Elizabeth's birth. It was about mid-morning. And so we went to the hospital way early in the morning.
And where was she born? What city?
It was in San Diego. It was, I think, the Grossmont Hospital in San Diego.
Wow.
And what I recall about the birth was that it did not take as long as Tina's first baby, Joshua, of course.
Yeah.
That's fairly typical. But one thing I do remember about this situation was that for some reason the table that Tina was on had a big long piece of stainless steel table at the bottom of where Tina was laying. What? And this, I can't explain why this was the case, but when Elizabeth was born, the doctor and nurse wasn't there to catch her exactly, and she came squirting out and sliding down the table. And
oh my gosh,
they caught her before she hit the floor. It sounds more like a comedy situation, but
but back then you were probably freaking out. Oh my gosh!
I'm standing there. Like, so shouldn't somebody catch that?
Still going. Wow.
So that was a little bit different.
Oh yeah.
But it may not have happened exactly like that, but that's what I remember.
That's what your memory tells you.
Yeah,
that's real. I let's go with it. I like it.
And we had her name picked out pretty quickly, from what I recall. We were pretty determined not to have middle names picked out for any of our girls.
Okay.
So
a lot of people do it. I have no idea because I've met a lot of people that they take their maiden name and have that as their middle name. Was that the purpose?
We pretty much decided that if our girls wanted to have a middle name, they could use their maiden name for the middle name. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
did you do that in your family growing up?
If they did, they didn't do it on purpose or didn't tell us that that's what they did on purpose. Because my two sisters, Corinne and Jolene, neither one of them have middle names either. So
they don't.
Yeah.
That's right.
And until you just asked that question, it didn't come together for me like that. I didn't really think about it that way.
That's kind of a cool tradition.
And then my wife doesn't have any sisters.
Oh, so you don't know if that was a tradition or not.
Yeah.
Mom didn't love her middle name, though. I do remember that.
Yeah.
She did have a middle name.
She has a middle name.
Wait, what's your mom's middle name?
Barbara. She hates it.
My mom's is Ray, and she hates it.
Yeah, Rae, Ray.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's so cute.
I do, too.
It's like a southern name, like Tina Ray. Get your butt over here.
Yeah.
I think that's why she hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a thing. So
Cute. So, what kind of baby was Elizabeth? Did you call her Elizabeth?
The best.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, sorry.
well, yes, we did call her Elizabeth.
Okay.
After she got to be a little girl, it was Beth.
Oh, okay.
But the early years were, as far as I can remember, were fairly easy.
Right.
I always remembered our girls, Elizabeth and her younger sister Jessica, being the easier of the children to raise.
Told you.
When the boys came along later, that's when the nightmares started.
Really? Now, did she make up for it as a teenager?
Probably.
No, I don't think she made up for it as a teenager. She did typical teenage stuff.
Oh, you were just a blessed little child. Love it.
He's going really easy on some of that, but maybe that's because I snapped out of it so quick.
No, it's probably because she had enough siblings that each of them had their teenage years that caused me to lose hair. And so it's all spread around.
I'm not looking forward to that.
Girl, we got time. Like a year.
I was talking to some of the folks at work this week, and we were all pretty much realizing that you really need to enjoy the time of life of your children every age they're at, because it's different for every age of life they're in.
I feel like some ages are a lot more physically demanding, and then you get to be more emotionally demanding as they get older. I don't know. I was very emotionally demanding as a child.
Okay. And
me too.
And that's really true. They're different. Every time age is different. And different children are different than the others. Mm-hmm. So parents really should not be thinking, well, gee, I wish I can hardly wait till my kids are out of diapers, or I can hardly wait till my kids are old enough to take to the movies, or I can hardly wait till they can sleep all night, or I can hardly wait till... Parents need to stop saying, I can hardly wait till my kids fill in the blank, right?
Great advice.
Just enjoy them whatever age they're at.
Because there really are cool things about each age. I mean, I look back and each one, I mean, even though the ones I joke about, like, I hate 5-year-olds or something, and it's been so good, each experience in its own little way. Taxing in others, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can totally see that. So as a baby, was Liz a cuddler, or did she like her space?
She was a cuddler.
Was she?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can see that still. I've seen her and Adam's relationship a little bit.
Yeah.
And she definitely likes to touch and cuddle, and Steve and I are not like that. So I kind of admire that.
Yeah. I never thought of it like that because he's a little more snuggly than I am. At least at bedtime, I'm like, get away. Here's my partition of pillows. I'm sleeping.
Well, I think she was probably a little more of a daddy's girl, too.
Was she?
Yeah.
It's true. When he was on military assignments, and I remember, oh my gosh, the anticipation when he would come home. Because he brought us gifts, too. But Jess and I, oh man, we would, count down the days till Dad was home. Jess always had the best ideas for traps. Because when he was home, we would try and trap Dad so that he couldn't get away. And she was always like belts and ties and would tie everything together and we'd plot to capture him when he came out of the bathroom or something.
Yep.
But then I was like, but we need to make sure he doesn't get hurt. So we would lay out all these pillows and blankets so that when we captured him, he would, because he couldn't see the giant rope in front of the bathroom door that was going to pull him down,
so
right?
So your dad was a good actor.
Oh, phenomenal. We thought we had him every time. Are you kidding me? He'd let us hog tie him and everything.
It was great fun.
Good times. I think we have some good pictures of that, as a matter of fact. I remember one where we must have trapped him in our bedroom or something, and his face was, we thought we had him for sure. He could not get out of those ropes.
I love that.
It was great fun.
Well, do you have any other memories that stand out with Liz?
I think one I'd like to share is kind of a funny one. Her first tooth that she lost was actually something that happened between her and her sister. They were playing with some of the toys that they had, kitchen toys. What was it, a plastic hamburger?
Oh, pound puppies. We just talked about pound puppies last week, remember?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And we were pound puppies fighting over the food.
Fighting over the food. But, you were pretending to be pound puppies, fighting over the food. And you had a plastic burger or something in your mouth, and Jessica pulled it out of your mouth, and a tooth came with it.
Oh, wow.
And
those were good times.
And it was bleeding, and you were freaking out because it was your first tooth.
I didn't know it was supposed to do that. I thought I was dying.
because it was your first tooth.
Oh,
yeah. So it was a new thing.
Did the tooth fairy reward you well? Do you remember?
Sure.
You don't remember? What did you get from Tooth Fairy?
Oh, quarters, probably.
Okay, yes.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Yeah,
we were in Japan, and I was a young airman in the military. So we.
I don't give my kids more than $1, so quarters were great.
What are you talking about? The Tooth Fairy doesn't.
Oh, I mean, sorry. Yes.
Yeah, correct
that.
Yeah.
Only gives $1. Yikes.
Oh my gosh. I remember writing notes to the Tooth Fairy. Please, please, please give me $1. I don't think our Tooth Fairy could read because we only got 25 cents.
That's awesome.
Oh, okay. Just one more thing that we wanted to ask you before we let you go. But since it's called What We Learned This Week, is there anything that you've learned this week, an aha moment that you'd care to share with us?
Sure. So this week was quite a busy week for me at work.
And what do you do?
I'm a manager for the Department of Defense over here at the Air Force Base. And
it's a big deal.
It's kind of a big cheese.
I have some folks that I work with. We had some visitors from out of town that I was preparing for, and I've dealt with visitors. I've dealt with conferences. I've given briefings throughout my 36, 37 year career. This was the first time I'd been left to be so autonomous in all my preparations for these visitors.
Okay. Because usually do you have to get it checked?
Yeah.
And all that?
Everybody has to hack off on the agenda, on my briefing slides, blah, blah, blah. And this was the first time I'd been given so much leeway in the visit. So, okay, well, by the time the visitors were finished. We were packing up. Everybody was saying their goodbyes, and they were getting ready to walk out the door. I realized that all those years of experience went into that visit, and I didn't need to be as nervous in all my preparations and throughout the visit that I was.
So you were saying you need to trust your experience?
You had it in the bag.
Trust my experience. I could have just relaxed and trusted everything that I have gone through. All the conferences that I have put together, all the briefings that I've given to literally hundreds of high-level military and civilian personnel, and just relaxed and enjoyed the the visit instead of being so nervous.
That is beautiful. I think that could go for so many of us that we second guess ourselves.
We second guess ourselves. We're nervous about things instead of relaxing and just trusting in the experience we've had, the preparations that we've made, that we've gone through, and relax and enjoy it.
And you probably would have had such a more enjoyable time had you trusted yourself a little bit more.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, now that means nothing but success for all the future ones, right? I mean,
sure.
It's all up from here.
It's all gravy.
It's all gravy. I'm not even going to worry about the next one.
Nice. Good job. That means you really learned it.
All right.
Yeah, we're still, that's why we're doing this. We're still learning it. Every time we finish an episode, I swear I'm like, I mean, I learned it this week, but that doesn't mean I really got it.
Right.
Or that I got it and I didn't finish learning it or
But you know what?
Something like that.
Sometimes you have to relearn things.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true.
There's a new layer or level or something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You level up. Super Mario Brothers.
Oh, yeah. I like level up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually really sucked at leveling up. Can we not do that?
Oh, no.
Were you?
I liked Mario. That was so fun.
But could you play it? Like, I was the one
Yes.
moving on the... Like, my arms would go up to try and get Mario to
You played like
go
a
up.
mom.
Oh, yeah. I still do.
You do?
Oh, are you kidding me? My kids refused to play with me. We tried a shooting game the other day. It was hopeless. I couldn't even... Like, where's the... on?
Okay,
I don't even...
but P.S. Nintendo had, like... 6 things you can do?
True.
And the Xbox controllers have, 25. My son tried to teach me Fortnite.
No, he didn't.
And I was an idiot. He was so patient and tried to explain it to me, but...
It wasn't happening?
No, it was really embarrassing. It made me feel like I was 85 years old.
We are. What are you talking about when it comes to video games?
I don't think I had enough fingers. I don't know if they just have more fingers. I couldn't figure out how to play.
More fingers. Oh. Okay. Well, thanks, Dad. It was really fun to have you on today.
Well, thank you for inviting me. It was fun.
You're a natural.
You are. You should be doing this.
Oh, great. Thanks. I was kind of nervous. I didn't even have time to sit down and think about what I was going to talk about. You ladies just brought it out. So, thanks.
Shalene's really good.
We're like the torture people. We just bring out all the answers.
She has really good questions. I was like, dang, that's a hard question. I don't know how I'd answer that. And we just waited. So you had to answer. We were like, what? No, really, go ahead.
No, it was smooth. So, it's all good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. Yeah. Okay, talk, Dad.
Hello. Hello.
You're on.
That's exciting.
Okay.
Through the miracles of modern technology.
Let's get going. Okay. How do we want to do this, Liz? Do you want me to still lead the interview or do you want to try and lead it?
All right. We'd like to welcome to the show now Shalene's dad, Byron. Hi, Byron.
Hi, how are you?
So good. We're so glad to have you with us as
yes,
well.
We are.
Thank you, I think.
Well,
what?
Totally. He can be nervous. It's okay. Are you a little nervous? How do you feel?
Oh, not nervous. It's just, loss of short as well as long-term memory is rampant in my life. And so, therefore, you get what you get.
Hey, we're okay with that. And
yes, we are.
Through some questions. So, no worries. We're not going to make you tell a full story start to finish.
No, yeah. We'll interrupt you for sure. Don't worry. We're really good at that.
So we kind of opened just before interviewing my dad with the perspective that we get from having the story of birth and just what it's like to be a father. You know, especially since Chalene was your first, stepping into that role as a father, and if there was a lot of anticipation and if you felt really connected and so forth. So I guess my first question, as we kind of set the stage for that, our first question would be if you felt really excited and, kind of what you felt in getting ready for Chalene to join the world.
Do you remember?
Mostly not, but then there's a few things that I remember. We were not married for that long at all before Tina got pregnant with Chalene, and so that was really the first 9 months was when Tina was pregnant. And
oh wow!
Yes,
and she was barfing, right?
For the majority of the time, yes. In fact, her comment was after all 5 children, literally the minute the kid was born, she noticed, oh, I don't feel sick anymore.
Oh no.
That's so sad.
So I guess that's a testament to how much she really wanted children. So anyway, the scenario is we were struggling students, just like thousands and thousands and thousands, and not really knowing what to anticipate or to know what was happening. We just took it day by day. And so most of the time was just really taking care of Tina. In fact, there are a few foods that I would cook. Some things I went to Korea on my mission, and so therefore they were Korean oriented. And to this day, they make my wife sick even just.
That's awesome.
Okay, but to be fair, your ramen concoction does not look that appetizing.
But does it taste good?
But it tastes great.
Sure.
That's all that matters. That's all that matters. I would eat it, Byron.
Yeah, Tina said that looked like her barf after it came back up. Anyway, and her motto was, because we would travel, whether it was back to Nebraska to see to my parents, etc., have bowl, will travel. So anyway, as we got closer, we went to the normal classes of the birthing. I don't know if it was formally Lamaze or not, but we would practice the breathing and all of the various techniques like that. And one story is that as Tina was in delivery, that Chalene wanted to come so quickly that the doctor was not there yet.
Oh, really?
And so the nurse said, well, you have to pant. You have to pant. And so I was, as her coach, of course, I was saying, okay, you have to pant, And later I found out that I came very close to getting smacked in the jaw because Tina's opinion was, I don't want to pant. This baby is coming. I don't care. And so luckily the doctor did get there in time, literally just in time.
Wow.
To basically catch Chalene as she came flying out.
I was ready.
Yeah,
she was ready.
And so, and Tina was a little bit upset because I got to hold Chalene before she did.
Oh.
Because Chalene had come so fast, and you may want to edit this part out, as they were sewing her up, she had to focus on that, and so I got to hold Chalene while
pretty sweet deal.
Yeah.
The main thing I remember is she was blowing bubbles. That was Chalene, not Tina.
I feel like I can imagine that for some reason.
I gotta make an impression.
That's right. And it was a good impression.
Oh, thanks.
The other thing, though, as far as a lot of the individual details, I guess another detail was, of course, because we were struggling students, my parents helped to subsidize somewhat. In fact, both Chalene and Kristen, her younger sister, they basically bought my first two children. And so technically I could have possessed them, but we never did. But back then, the entire cost was $350.
Oh my gosh. And you didn't have insurance, right? That was
No insurance.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
And you got a crab and steak dinner, or lobster and steak dinner, right?
Something like that. Yeah, I think it was a steak and lobster, or so. I think it was steak and lobster.
Yeah. Tell me how disappointed I was. And I had my first kid, and I was like, okay, I'm ready for my lobster and steak dinner. And I got cream of wheat and an egg.
There you go.
Yeah.
I think I got a sandwich.
And the egg was probably an extra cost option.
Yeah.
Right.
But Utah Valley Hospital, as it was called at the time, was known because it had the highest number of births of like any hospital in the whole U.S.
Oh, I believe that.
Yeah.
And they had a little, at some location, the work locations, it says, how many days since the last injury, et cetera. Well, they had a running total of how many babies were born so far this year, and it was in June it was well up into the thousands. So
oh my gosh, that's
anyway,
crazy.
it was incredible.
Yeah, see, you have a better memory than you thought.
Great job.
I'm really just making all this up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, as long as it sounds good, though, right?
Yeah.
So, what was it like being a dad for the first time then? Do you have any strong memories? How did it go from there? What was Chalene like as a baby?
The biggest thing well, first of all, she was very good natured. She would most often, be in her crib and play and various things like that. The biggest memory that I have is we had one of those, I guess you'd call it a porta crib, the ones that, come all apart and everything, and you can adjust the level.
Mm-hmm.
And we had adjusted at the level so that it would be even with our mattress. And so when Chalene was hungry, Tini could just roll over and bring Chalene over and nurse her. And I just remember, when Tina wasn't there or whatever, I would just go in and I would lay on the bed, and Chalene would be in the porta crib at eye level, if you will, and I'd just stare at her.
Oh,
because she was just so cute, just so darling.
Oh.
And
the fact that your TV only had 2 stations didn't make a difference.
None whatsoever. None whatsoever.
Come now, Chalene. Don't downpedal it. It sounds like quite an intimate connection for him.
Yeah.
To just be in awe of this little being he'd been a part of, right?
I know. It was really amazing. And then sometimes I would come home from school, and I don't know whether I actually said these words, but I said something to the effect of, "Can Chalene come out and play?"
Oh.
Because, she would be asleep. Tina had finally gotten her asleep or whatever. And, of course, I would want to play with her. And but she was, from what I can remember, as I said, very, very good-natured and just fun and even-tempered from the very beginning.
So it sounds like you were kind of the dad that was your way to engage and interact with the kids, was playtime, or, is that kind of how you did your connecting with the kiddos, or did it kind of start that way with Chalene first and then went from there?
It started that way, but then, and I think her mom was a very good example, as we read to them, in the evenings.
Oh, uh-huh.
And, I get perhaps somewhat animated in my reading, and she can probably remember some of the different voices and things like that of the different characters in the books, because it was just so much fun. And because Kristen, her younger sister, and her were so close in age,
Mm-hmm.
we'd be able to, to read to the both of them. They could understand much at the same level, so we'd have the same books, and it was just very enjoyable to do that.
I remember
so much, Chalene.
Yeah, probably. I do think that you get your love of reading kind of from your parents, but I remember 2 books in particular. And one was when I was younger, Cars and Trucks and Things That Go by Richard Scarry, and we'd find the gold bug on each page.
Oh yes, that gold bug.
I remember that book.
Oh yeah, my kids have it. We still do the same thing. They all love it. And then when I got older, I don't remember how old I was, Dad. Maybe you do. We read those 2-minute mysteries.
Oh yes.
And that was really fun. And Dad would figure them out, and I would never be able to figure them out.
So how was Chalene as she got older? Was she just as fun and good-natured as blowing bubbles and hanging out in the crib when she was younger?
Do I have to answer that?
Yes. Hey, she asked my dad, and he was pretty honest, as a matter of fact. He's like, no worse, he said, than any of the other kids, right?
Chalene turned out to be very strong-willed. As I'm sure, knowing her, that is a complete surprise.
Total surprise. I never would have thought that.
Total surprise.
Oh my God.
She's actually, to me, very good-natured, so a tiny surprise, but I can see it.
I got a lot of it out as a teenager, and I took it out on my dad a lot, didn't I?
Well, I think most kids do. It was not egregious. you know, one person's disobedience is another person's near perfection, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And that she felt that her disobedience was large and, you know, and huge and everything like that. I mean, but, you know, in retrospect, you know, staying out until 12:30 when the curfew was 12 was a huge deal.
Yeah.
In that situation. But that's about as bad as it got, as far as we know. Now, she may still have things that she hasn't told us.
Actually,
That's right.
no. I have a huge fear of getting like in trouble. Like if it says do not park here, I do not park there because I know the minute I do, I'm going to get a ticket. There's other people that are just golden, but no, I was a rule follower for sure.
It was interesting, though, is that she did not want to be categorized. Well, the example was the worst thing that you could call her was a Molly Mormon.
Yeah.
I mean, I mean, she would just, you know, go ballistic almost. But the problem was she was virtually a Molly Mormon.
Don't say it.
Chalene, it's like my loathing for being called a mommy, and I'm like everything mom.
Oh gosh, it hurts.
That's funny.
And again, I mean, from the total perspective of things, she had a good heart and she had a very obedient heart. Wow. And yeah, there was the disobedience, and she didn't want to toe that line, so she'd step back at least 3 inches from
just
that.
Just purpose, huh? Yeah.
I'm sorry, the other way around. Just step over that line. Oh, by golly, by at least 3 inches. You know, it was really never major, but you know, the emotions that go along with that, etc., were still the same.
Yeah.
Dealt with it, hopefully, well as parents, and I think that, you know, as she was growing up, because of her, what's the right word? Not forceful nature, but just a little bit of strong-willed, a little bit of, you know, knowing the difference between right and wrong. She did know the difference between right and wrong, and so in anything major, she would always choose the right. Not to be, you know, trite in using that, but she was a good kid, you know, and she was, you know, fun to be around, and it was very pleasing to see her excel. And one of the instances, I mean, first of all, I mean, you know, when she was in high school, 2 things. One was she was, you know, a drum major, and you know, in seeing the different the things that the whole band did for one thing, but then in seeing her in that Confederate uniform with a full sword, high boots, you know, and things like that was very impressive. And you know, when they went to London with the band, you know, when they came back again, both her and her sister just tried to impress on them that they can do anything. They can do literally anything when they put their mind to it. And, you know, her being in band, et cetera, was a result of, you know, huge number of hours of work and, you know, practice, et cetera. And in fact, she does something that can't fathom, is she can lead music with one hand doing it in 4/4 time and the other hand in 3/4 time.
Yeah, she's amazing. I've never even seen her do that, but she is one of those hard work, dedicated people. See, Chalene? It's not nerd alert. It's pretty empowering.
Well, thanks.
The other thing is, you know, the night where the parents go to school and they spend 10 minutes in each class and you know, find out what their kids were doing. Well, I had her schedule, and so I was going from room to room. And on one of them, it had the media center. Well, it took me a while to figure out that media center meant library. Okay. You know, different generations, et cetera. And so as I went in there, I was wondering, I mean, it didn't look like a study hall or anything like that. And so I said, you know, Chalene Burke is, you know, here during this period. And And I said, oh, yeah, she works with the PID SID kids, which is a term that I had never known before.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Come to find out, totally unbeknownst to us, one period during the day, she worked with the profoundly and severely intellectually disabled kids in helping them. I don't know if it was mainstreaming or just bringing them in and things like that. We had no clue.
Wow.
I can't tell you guys. That's weird.
Surprise.
And so I was quite impressed with that. And so her desire to go into, music therapy and early, elementary education? Is that what it ended up?
Early childhood special education.
Was not a surprise after that.
Yeah.
But I think that is in line with the other things of saying, in order to do that, you have to be strong-willed, I think. In other words, you have to know what is right and what is wrong, what is allowed and what is not allowed, but also that you can relate to them. Meaning, you let them talk and you listen to them and they understand. She does that much better. She's a lot like her mother from that standpoint. I don't have the patience to do that.
But I think I learned my leadership from you. And I think I definitely learned hard work. I mean, as much as I didn't want to learn it, right? I did.
How many children do want to learn that?
None of us ever. Come on now. I still fight that one. Why do we have to do it? Oh, wait, I'm the mom.
That's right. I'm the mom or I'm the dad.
What a neat story. What a neat share. We actually have one more story we'd love to hear about, if you can recall this. My dad shared a first tooth story, losing my first tooth. Chalene said there might be a first tooth story that's kind of a fun recall, fun memory.
I'll start it off, Dad, and I bet you can finish it off for me.
Does it involve a string and a door?
No, it might have, but I was very afraid of it hurting. And so my dad would say, oh, let me wiggle it. And then he'd wiggle it and try and pull it out. So I got wise to that. And so I was hiding under the table. And somehow it came out. And do you remember what I said?
Oh.
You're the one that told me this story. I'm sorry. You've had a lot of kids.
I don't remember.
And I looked right at you and I said, is that all? After you pulled it out. And you just wanted to, because you've been chasing me around the house for like half an hour.
Oh, yeah.
That is
okay.
funny.
Yeah, that's right. Because.
And that's also how I lost my second tooth, because you knocked me around after that.
Oh, I knocked you around?
Knocked her around. Wow.
I'm just saying, I can't believe that was it. I'm just teasing.
She wasn't at all dramatic either growing up, right?
No, I can't think of any real dramatic or well, there was a lot of drama always.
Yeah.
I think with any of the female gender, there was drama.
Oh.
Yes. And I was the one who could tell a poop joke and not get in trouble and sometimes make Dad laugh.
Oh, hey. That's a good
That
skill.
is one part of her personality that has not changed.
And it's
through
beautiful.
Teenager, through college, through momhood, and I'm sure into grandmotherhood, bodily function humor will continue.
I believe it.
I can't help it. I can't.
Well, poop is a part of life, so I guess that's a thing.
Yes. And Dad, we wanted to end really quick because the name of our podcast is What We Learned This Week. We're kind of putting you on the spot. But if you can think back to this week or even the week before, is there some aha moment or something that you learned this week to share with us?
You may want to edit some of the background to it, is that I am executive secretary in our ward, as well as I just got called as an assistant shift coordinator in the temple. And it's interesting to understand your own skills and how you can best utilize those skills to help others accomplish their roles. In both of those positions, I am, I guess you could say, a support role. Even though I've been in leadership positions before, and you said about learning leadership, but often the supporting roles of, I guess, teeing things up, if you will, and setting
scaffolding
and allowing other people to, our bishop says it's to shake hands and kiss babies, which he's very good at. But it takes both the face, if you will, of an organization as well as the people behind the scenes to make it work, and can enjoy both.
Well, that's cool.
I remember learning that true leadership is teaching others to lead themselves. And so that's essentially kind of what you're saying is it's not always a person standing in the front. It's teaching those people how to eventually, because you're not going to be there for the rest of their lives, right? You're teaching them how to lead themselves.
Well, and you just said too that you're using your skills to help them find, right, their roles, which is exactly that. They're finding and utilizing their own skills and own way of navigating the world. And all you're kind of doing is facilitating that. That is good quality leadership. And what a good aha moment. It kind of plays into what my dad talked about too. Isn't that kind of interesting?
Oh, yeah.
He talked about just as his discovery this week was the same kind of thing, that his skills and experience are worthwhile, that there's a point to them. They serve something. So that sounds like it was a really cool aha moment for you this week.
Yeah, it was interesting when I sat down to think about it, that those two positions, if you will, that are vastly different are really very much the same.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As far as even down to some of the day-to-day role, et cetera. So anyway, it was just interesting to come to the realization that I can utilize the skills to, really help others succeed, I guess.
Yeah. That's awesome. Way to go, Dad.
And on the fly, too.
Yeah. Quick thinking, man.
I got it from my daughter.
See, Chalene?
Oh.
No, meaning that she forced me to be able to think quickly. To,
I didn't teach you. I forced you.
My guess is the first child could possibly I think the same thing about my firstborn, right? Like nothing prepared me enough for what that was like. So good on you, Chalene.
Thanks. Oop, we're running out of time. So
okay.
Thank you so much, Dad, for sacrificing that time. And
oh, you're welcome. I hope this was what you were looking for.
It was perfect.
It was. Seriously, thank you for taking all that time tonight to spend with us.
Yes.
Oh, well, certainly. And when do I get my commission check? I mean,
when we get
when you get it.
Yeah, when we get $1. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay. Well, love you, Dad.
Thank you for this opportunity to do that. That was kind of fun.
Yeah, good.
It was fun for us. Thanks, Byron. It was nice to interview and talk with you.
Why, thank you very much. And you guys have a very good evening.
You too.
Okay,
Bye.
Take care. Love you, Chalene.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
So glad we were able to hear from our dads today and share with us a little about our birds so we could learn some father perspective. Kind of a fun learn. Let's share for a moment something maybe, Chalene, what did you learn from your dad growing up that
stuck out? There's two things that I can remember, and I apologize because I didn't mean for my dad to shout all of my virtues. I was a little embarrassed by that, but it did mean a lot to me. So thanks, Dad. One thing that he talked about, I can't remember when he talked about this specific thing, but he talked about how to be around people. Mm-hmm. I can't remember. I remember coming to him and saying, I feel so uncomfortable in large groups. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to talk to people. And he said, the best thing to do is to ask people questions about themselves. Mm. And I've actually found that to be very useful. It's almost now a crutch for me in some ways.
Yeah.
But I can carry on a conversation really easily with anyone because of what he taught.
Yeah, you're really good at asking questions. I was going to say you're good at questioning things. No, I meant when we first met, that was exactly what happened. You were so good at keeping the conversation on me. I mean, which of course makes us feel warm and toasty, but
right. Yeah. And I think I love learning about people's right? I love to learn things. And so asking questions really helps with that.
Yeah.
And the other thing, and I think I might have shared this before, but when I was trying to pick a major for college, I was torn between a couple things. He talked about music therapy. That was an option.
Mm-hmm.
And special needs and even flute performance. And I had all these ideas. I think I even wanted to go into advertising at one point. And he said, do something that you would do for free.
Wow, that is good advice.
Yeah. And he said, because no matter how much money you make, you'll always find fulfillment in it because you would do it for free.
Yeah.
When people ask, or talk to me about they don't know what to do with their lives, I hand that back to them or forward to them, I guess, and say, this is the advice my dad gave me and it was really useful. So thanks, Dad. I really, really appreciate those things and I'm still using them today.
That's awesome.
What about you, Liz?
I think when you shared kind of that experience when you were trying to figure out, what to go to school for, that reminded me of a time, probably, let's see, was I 20? Life did not go the way I wanted to after high school.
Gosh.
But it's fine, jump around and I look back and great experiences. I really wouldn't trade them probably now, although maybe I would have benefited just the same from a totally normal experience. I don't know. I wanted to go back to school still. I'm very active and was still very active at the time with my church, and it's very common for people to go on missions.
Okay, right.
Young men in particular, mission like church humanitarian service, proselyting type missions. And I had a boyfriend that I had sent on one.
Okay.
And I really wanted to date still.
Oh, he wanted you to wait for him?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 years is a long time to sit on a shelf, girlfriend.
You know what I'm saying? But I also, I adored him, but I don't know. I was in a place of just asking a lot of questions and was considering a mission for myself. I had wanted to do humanitarian work specifically forever, which...
Yeah, you still do.
I still love it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But I didn't know where to go. I didn't know, where to put all my efforts into, and there was just confusion, more or less. And I remember my dad telling me, Elizabeth, if you just start moving in one direction, you'll know. And it doesn't seem that, I don't know, maybe he doesn't even remember. But for me, it was really life-changing because sometimes I want all the answers before I move into a direction.
Yes.
Right? Like the sure path.
You want to see the end.
Well,
kind of? No.
I just want to know all the things.
Okay.
I'm really good at, once I know the direction I'm going in, I can make something happen, right? Like I can take all the steps or have the drive or the determination or whatever it is to get through it. But if I don't know, just stepping into the unknown is really scary, right?
Oh, yeah.
What if I start moving in the direction of a mission myself and then I don't want to do it? Or I decided, what if I change my mind? There's a lot of pressure on if I change my mind,
really?
Right? There is for me. Yeah. I'm not allowed to or something.
Oh, yeah.
Which is so silly.
No, I can see that.
I still struggle with it a little. But it was really powerful because he's like, you don't know unless you start doing, kind of thing.
Which I think is kind of true. You think about, Indiana Jones, in The Last Crusade, when he has to take that first step.
Right.
And he doesn't know, it looks like he's going to fall down, but he has to take that first step. You have to try.
Yeah. And then the whole path unfolded.
Yeah.
It appeared
and you could see it.
And that's exactly what happened for me.
Is it really?
Oh, yeah. It totally did. I did start some prep for a mission myself.
Okay.
It gave me a lot of focus for work. I found a second job I loved, got my finances in order, started dating and just having a lot of fun because I had been so tied to relationships for probably too long already at that point. Anyways, and then eventually it turned into the person I married.
Oh,
yeah, it's cool.
So yeah, that step
and
changed
I still got to
life.
go to school, and I still got to do all these other things just in a different way.
Wow, I
did it
incredible.
My way. Yeah, it was cool.
Way to go.
So that's a really standout thing about my dad. I can't think of any specific other life lessons. There's a lot of them.
Right.
There isn't one that stands out the most to me, other than just my dad has an uncanny ability to be able to compartmentalize and to make the most of any situation. Any situation.
Which I'm really grateful for. I think that is actually a gift.
It has its place, and there's just some
other
side effects that come from it, too.
Yeah, and I'm grateful for the men and women that can do that. When I learned about Operation Underground Railroad, which is what would you call it? A group a nonprofit to stop sex trafficking. Timothy Ballard was talking about his job in the FBI and how he had to watch a video. He was trying to catch child pornographers and he had to watch a video of a young boy getting raped like 75 times or something like that.
Oh my gosh.
And if I had to watch that personally,
I couldn't even handle it once.
No, it would affect my life and it would affect how I interacted with other people and my family and my kids and how I thought about what was going to happen. But I really felt like God gave him that gift of being able to compartmentalize and say, this is my work. That is what I do. But I am a human and I have this other part of my life.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
And I'm so grateful for that because it is something that we need. We need those people out there doing that kind of work. And so I think actually compartmentalization can be really great.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
I do have a question of the week.
Woohoo!
So we're not going to answer it today. Okay. But I just want to see what memories or what advice your dad gave to you out there. If he, and if you didn't have a father in your life, maybe a grandfather or a teacher, someone that just gave you, maybe they didn't even realize that they were giving you this advice, kind of like Liz was saying. I think there's sometimes people say things and it's just so powerful and it impacts us so much when they might not even realize it, but it's what we needed at that moment. So we'd love to hear what you have to say on Facebook or Instagram. Please let us know.
Share. Just a reminder as well about our retreat, September 13th to 15th. We are going to have an official sign-up date of July 8th at noon. So mark your calendars. That's when registration will open and begin. We're pretty excited about it. And probably in the next podcast or so, we'll update everybody as well with our website.
Yes. Liz has been working so hard. My mind is blown. She did a great job.
I'm excited. And it'll be a really easy way to submit questions or thoughts, feedback, all these little things that we've been sharing. You'll have a place for it to go and we can create a whole nother dialogue here. That's right. And thanks for joining us today. So glad you're here. Yeah. And remember, keep learning.
Because it does matter. And so do you.